I started this channel specifically to encourage me to reflect back on old projects and explore what I've learned over the years. At this point, since 2004, I've worked for over 300 clients and I've exported well over 5,000 unique drafts of videos. This archaeological exploration through my portfolio led me to a pivotal film in my career. A film for Olympia Coffee Roasters titled From the Source, back in 2011. Today, I attribute this film to playing a significant role in shaping my approach to filmmaking. My friend Oliver had recently purchased Olympia Coffee with his two friends, Sam and Andy. They're brothers. They had ambitious dreams of not only growing Olympia Coffee, but also shaking up the specialty coffee industry. But right now, I feel a need to share a quick backstory on how I met Oliver. I used to own a small coffee shop, and the roasting company that I used sent a trainer to work with my staff and I. They sent Oliver. He spent 2 days with us. When he arrived, I knew nothing about coffee, and by the time he left, I was a full-blown coffee snob. I carried my new pretentious persona forward into aiming to be the absolute best coffee shop in our area, and I may have succeeded by some metrics. But my coffee shop ownership was short-lived as I got offered a job teaching film production at our local tech school. The job offered insurance, and with a newborn baby in tow, I promptly accepted. A couple years passed, Oliver moved on from being a trainer, got his master's in food science, and purchased Olympia Coffee. Now you're up to speed, so let's move on. Shortly after taking over the roasting company, Oliver reached out to me about making a short musical montage showcasing the operations and culture at OCR.
One man pushed a boulder down the hill.
I watched the video again recently, and though I'm actually still pretty proud of it, I clearly made it during a time when people had longer attention spans. Earlier in this video, I mentioned the term specialty coffee. In case you're not familiar, here's a quick explanation. Specialty coffee focuses on quality at every step. Carefully selected beans, traceable origins, precise roasting, and intentional brewing to highlight the unique flavors. Farmers are often paid higher premiums, and sustainability is prioritized. Mass production coffee, on the other hand, prioritizes volume and consistency, using large blended lots, automated roasting, and darker profiles to mask defects. The goal is efficiency and uniform taste, rather than distinct characteristics. It wasn't long before Oliver reached out to me again about another project, this time joining him on one of his trips to Origin. A common practice in specialty coffee is for somebody from the roasting company, oftentimes the owner, will travel to the countries where the coffee is grown, visit the specific farms, and connect with the families that are running a farm. And from the loose research that we had done, no other specialty roaster had told that story yet, and Oliver wanted to be the first. I hadn't done much international travel yet at that point in my career, but I agreed to join him for the 8-day trip. The plan was to start in Costa Rica, take a bus to El Salvador, and hop a plane to Guatemala. I packed as light as I could, prioritizing my luggage around my slider. For anybody who started filmmaking before 2010, you probably remember when sliders hit the prosumer scene. It was all the craze. So I had the idea of being super nimble, yet still capturing beautiful slider shots as often as possible. On basically every other project leading up to this job, I had complete control over the scenes I was shooting. This was the first significant project where I had very little to no control over the scenes I was capturing, and I didn't realize it at the time, but this project would spark a love for a style of shooting called cinema verite. Here's a quick definition in case you're not familiar. Cinema verite is a documentary style that emphasizes natural, real-life moments captured with minimal interference. Filmmakers use handheld cameras, available light, and unscripted action to reveal truth through observation rather than scripting and staging. I didn't speak Spanish, which put me at a bit of a disadvantage when shooting some of the scenes, so I was left with being as opportunistic as I could. I wasn't really ever in a situation where I couldn't have somebody translate for me, but having even a little bit of a language barrier limited my ability to direct a scene. Not to mention that many of the scenic locations that we visited, we were only there for a short time. One phrase that I was sure to get on lock though was "Te puedo grabar," which means, "Can I record?" I try to follow the principle that I shouldn't film somebody who doesn't want to be filmed.
Most people don't understand what goes into a cup of coffee. They don't understand where coffee comes from, how it's gotten there, all the hands that have gone into the work of the coffee.
We visited several farms over the course of the 8-day trip, And I witnessed firsthand just how much care Oliver put into this process. It wasn't just about finding the absolute best coffee, but for him, it was just as much about relationships, quality of life, and sustainability. We ate meals in these families' homes. Oliver would talk for hours with them about their lives as farmers and how to grow their farms while maintaining the highest quality product. This kind of connection to the growers and their families led him to spearhead the Fair for All standard. You may have heard of fair trade, but Fair for All takes the best practices in coffee production to a whole new level. It ensures a living wage for all laborers in the coffee chain, a standard for providing safe, humane working conditions, and maintains full transparency and fair pricing. You should check out fairforall.coffee if you want to learn more. In 2012, when this video was released, the online video environment was a lot different than it is today. People had longer attention spans, and the term viral video was still a relatively new term, and they were far less common than they are today. By most metrics, this video wasn't a viral video, but it did gain more traction than I anticipated. The day after I uploaded the video to my Vimeo channel, I saw a sudden spike in the stats. It turns out that the popular blog Gizmodo posted it to their homepage with a caption that read, "This is where your coffee comes from." It wasn't long before the film was being watched all over the world. People reached out to me thanking me for making this film, and that they now had a whole new appreciation for their morning coffee. One person who reached out to me was a guy named Chino. He was featured in the film. He told me that Dunkin' Donuts of South Korea wants me to go back down and meet their coffee buyers and follow them while they tour coffee farms. I took the job, and it certainly gave me a good perspective on the mass production side of the coffee industry. And let's just say that we didn't eat meals with the families who owned the farms, nor did we sleep in their homes. Many people reached out to Oliver as well. Most notably, he got a call from the office of Hillary Clinton, asking for permission for her to show the film to the UN. At the time, she was lobbying for better practices for agricultural imports or something like that. We gave permission, but we never really did hear what happened after that. I assume the screening went well. Once the video had been public for a while, I'd often get questions and comments about the music. If I had made this film again today, I'd likely make a few different choices about how I put the whole film together, and most specifically how I'd structure the score. It was a bold choice, but at the time, I chose to use a song that I captured on location while we were in El Salvador. I knew going into the trip that I'd love to find an opportunity to capture some live music, and one morning that opportunity presented itself. It was around 4:30 a.m., and I was woken up by the sound of distant horns and drums. I quietly grabbed my camera and audio recorder and snuck out of the family's home that we were staying in. I walked 3 or 4 blocks until I came upon a funeral procession that was marching down the street. It was haunting and alluring. I slowly walked along, holding my camera in one hand and audio recorder in the other. I followed the procession all the way to the church before heading back to the home where Oliver was still sleeping. I spent the rest of the trip listening back to that file, debating whether or not this was the song I was looking for. I personally loved it, but it was a little ominous and a little heavy, but I'm drawn to that kind of music. When I put together drafts of this film, I cut together a few versions that only used a small portion of this song before cutting to something more mainstream. But we ultimately landed on letting the song play out. I did pass the song off to an audio engineer friend of mine, who polished the audio the best he could and sprinkled some magic dust on it to make the crescendo hit a little harder.
Every coffee is an intentional pursuit of perfection for you, our customers.
And though I had a few people share that the music wasn't their favorite, I also had several people share that the music is what pulled them in even further, which I guess is a good reminder of the subjective nature of putting art out in the world. I learned a lot about myself on this trip. I witnessed firsthand the time, attention, and care that goes into sourcing coffee. I filmed in a lot of different areas of agriculture over the years, from apples to cherries to blueberries to wine grapes to potatoes to herbs, and I've certainly seen a lot of crossover across all of these industries. But there's something special about coffee production. People often have an intimate relationship with their morning coffee, myself included. For me, it's a very ritualistic part of my day. When I make coffee at home, I like to take my time and dial in every step of the process. I am easily reminded of the time that I got to visit these coffee farms, And it really makes me appreciate all the hard work that Olympia Coffee Roasters puts in to produce outstanding coffees, and to create better lives for everybody involved along the way. I joined Oliver on 2 more trips over the next few years, and I'll be making videos for those as well, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Now go get yourself some coffee.